Hi,
Good morning.
Monique.
And Alan again.
And we know that we spoke about foreclosures and kind of how to protect yourself if the process starts. We knew that it was a possibility, but we just read an article this morning that says, hey, they're knocking at our door.
Yes. Yeah, it's coming.
It is coming. So we read an article from ATTOM Solutions, I believe. Anyways, we'll talk more about who they are after we tell you what they wrote about. But they wrote an article about housing markets at risk from pandemic downturns concentrated in
New Jersey, Illinois, and California.
California. And it highlights a little bit of the southern, northern, and central. But here in the Inland Empire, they speak about one of our very favorite counties, and it's a little scary.
It is.
Do you want to share with them which one it is?
Yeah, Riverside County made the top 50 out of the counties that were in this study. And we'll share with you the number of counties that were in the study. And
so it has a really cool picture. See that?
Of a virus.
That is the virus that is hurting so many of us. And it is so very sad. And I just want to say I'm so sorry to any of you who have suffered great loss during this very sad time. And anyways, our hearts go out to you. But so New Jersey, Illinois, and California had 31 of the 50 counties most vulnerable to the potential economic impacts of the pandemic. And I thought California was doing so well. I mean, any buyers out there, any sellers out there, you all know how well the market's been here in California. Yeah. So if, for instance, there's a county that forecloses, Alan, and if there's high rates of foreclosures here in the Inland Empire, what do you think that's going to do to the market?
No, I think it's going to bring you'll see the downturn that this study talks about. It's talking about just being able to, you're going to see the market dip because there'll be more homes that will be on the market for foreclosures. So there won't be as prices, I think, will come down also because you'll have all these foreclosures.
So you think the market's going to go down? So my prediction is what I've been saying to all my clients is I think it's going to normalize because we're in a hyperactive market right now. I don't think it's going to dip. I think it's going to go normal.
Well, it's coming down from where it is right now. The crazy,
but the crazy is defined by the 20 plus offers, the $200,000 over, these crazy characteristics of a crazy market. But that doesn't necessarily mean that when you have a correction that it's going to go down. For me, I think the correction really is normalization. And in my 2 decades of being in this industry, what I believe that to be is a correction doesn't necessarily mean we're going to lose our home equity here in California. Yeah. So I don't think properties are going to go down. I think we're going to see a normal breeding ground of new home buyers because now they actually can afford and compete in this market because there will be more inventory. But remember, I mean, Governor Newsom has a mandate to build, I think, oh my God, just in Claremont alone, I think we were supposed to add 3,400 new units, and don't quote me on that, but we have to add so many by the end of last year, we had to identify land completely identified for redevelopment. It's super impossible unless you start going up in building, and cities don't want that. So we're still in a housing crisis. So if we have these homes that go on the market because of foreclosures, sadly, I think it'll normalize the market so that we'll have new home buyers who can actually get a home. So maybe, out of those 100 offers that we had on some of our homes, only one family got that home. So 99 other families were still left to find homes. Yeah. So maybe this next time around, we'll have more inventory. And so maybe we'll only have 4 people competing for a home.
which is the downturn I think that I'm talking about. It's seeing it going back from where it is, going down. But what it does is, like Monique said, that down brings you back to what we normally know in the housing market.
So it says, so markets were considered when they did this ranking. I'm going to just read off what they based it off of. Markets were considered more or less at risk based on the percentage of homes facing possible foreclosure, the portion of mortgage balances that exceeded estimated property values, and the percentage of average local wages required to pay for major home ownership expenses on a median priced single family home. So rankings based on the combination of those three categories in 575 counties among the United States were taken, and those with sufficient data to analyze in the third and fourth quarters of 2021. So the bottom line is, what I'm gathering is that we will have more foreclosed homes entering the market, and therefore maybe that will contribute to a more normal market where, I think a lot of our buyers and sellers were really anxious in this environment and that makes me not be able to do what we want to do, which is we want to keep all the transactions smooth and stressless. We take on all the stress. It's never stressless, by the way.
It's always
there's always something that goes on, but our clients don't necessarily need to be in the middle of that. That's actually what you pay a realtor for. So if you're getting exceedingly stressed, you might want to reconsider who you're working with and make sure they're just, a little bit more calm.
Because if they're calm, then you're not going to feel that stress. I mean, it's always stressful buying or selling a house to some degree.
But we always say that in a home transition, it is a stressful environment because you're having a major change. Any sort of change that's significant always causes stress to happen in our bodies. But nobody's dying. So it should be a joyous, fun process. And your realtor should never make you more stressed. So if they are, call us. We can refer you to people all over the nation, even in Canada, if you are relocating or buying in your state. So, please look out for us. And we are trained all the same way. And our number one is to make sure that you're not stressed out. So, okay, let's see. California had 7 counties in the top 50 list. I'm going to read them all, and unfortunately, Riverside is in here. Butte County in Chico, El Dorado County, east of Sacramento.
You had Humboldt County, which is Eureka area, Shasta County, which is Redding area, in the northern part of the state, as well as Kern County, Bakersfield area, Mandura County outside of Fresno, and then Riverside County.
It's the east side of Los Angeles. So we're in Claremont, which is the last city going east inside LA County. And then adjacent to us is San Bernardino County. And then southeast of San Bernardino County. And it's almost so LA County, San Bernardino, Riverside.
And Orange County.
Yeah, and Riverside going south, joining with San Diego County. So we have Riverside County that is being adversely affected by the pandemic with the economic impact that we're talking about. Now, specifically where Riverside County is affected, I don't know if you've ever heard the term house poor. So we get house poor when we start increasing our credit card payments. Like we want maybe, I don't know, when we run rental applications, we get to see where people are spending their money. And one that I see that I always feel is pretty irresponsible is jewelry debt. So I don't know if it's the man's fault or the woman's fault or both or whatever, but I know if Alan bought me jewelry, I'd actually get kind of upset with him because I don't,
Yeah.
unless I have sufficient cash in the bank, no fun spending. The fun spending is always just on the entire family.
So it's family fun spending.
But I have told him very clearly, like, don't spend money on jewelry for me because I just feel like it takes away from our children.
Especially putting it on a credit card.
And especially putting it on a credit card. You make sure you have cash for that.
Yeah.
And still at least $5,000 cash still in the bank for a rainy day.
Yeah.
But that's one that I always see. And they're not, low balances. They're typically in the thousands. And so that's one that hurts. But typically when people start taking on those types of debt, then we start seeing them being house poor. So in Riverside County, it says that a major homeownership cost, including mortgage payments, property taxes, and insurance, consume more than 30% of their income. So what does that mean? It means that 52% of people in Riverside County that own homes, they are spending over 30% of their income on their mortgage.
Yeah. On the house in general, yeah, on the mortgage, insurance, everything related to the house, yes. And
so that makes me very sad. And that was, let's see, the highest percentage was in Rockland County, New York at 57.9%, so 58%. And then number 3 was 52.5% in El Dorado County, east of Sacramento. And then number 3,
Riverside.
Have you ever heard first the worst, second the best, third the turd? Well, that's where Riverside County is. Turd.
Yes.
52%. And then it starts dropping to 47.6% in New Jersey. Then the next one's in New Jersey again at 44%. And it starts going down and down. But 52%
of the residents in their own homes are spending more than 30% of their income on their house, which makes you in the verge of house poor.
It makes you house poor, which means you can't do things like vacations with your family. You can't buy a car. You can't buy a second home for like a rental, which really helps with prosperity. So, it's a little sad. So what I thought would happen after reading that, I thought, okay, well, we're probably going to see Riverside County in some of the other areas of, possibly opening up foreclosure files, but they weren't replicated. So that is the good news of this, but they measured some other categories. At least 10% of residential mortgages were underwater in the third quarter of 2021. California did not make that list. So hooray.
Yeah, not on the top 50 for that one.
So that means that, they were on the verge of foreclosure. But at what point, what's going to happen to the Riverside County residents that we're going to have another correction in the market or in the pandemic, or more people are going to lose their jobs or whatever it is. And they're not going to be able to pay because they're paying so much of their income to their mortgage.
And then back in July of 2021, the federal government lifted that protection for homeowners who couldn't pay those mortgages. So banks started to work in that process to get their money back.
So that started in December 31st.
Yeah, the protection is lifted in July 31st is when they actually started, which means we're going to start seeing them in the next couple months.
I was projecting March is when we're going to see some of these foreclosures take hold.
Scary.
It's going to be very scary. So we are going to be entering another sort of pandemic, economic, as a residual effect of COVID. I'm sick and tired of seeing more families adversely affected by COVID. It's a roller coaster and it's not fair or fun. But in California, we do have one caveat that is really working for us. And that is that our home equity has still gone up so significantly that I would urge those people who are house poor, who possibly cannot afford to pay their mortgage, to look at possibly selling their home. as opposed to going into an actual foreclosure.
Yeah.
Because
not holding on to that, not having that adversely affect you, or like we talked about yesterday, making sure you get the modification to that and see if the modification will actually help you. If it won't, then
But okay, so this is the other thing. Right now, we're still seeing people, moving the price tags up and up and up. It would not, every realtor, like, it's their job to provide you with a proper property analysis. We do them for free. So if you wanted a market evaluation of your home before having to actually face foreclosure, that's definitely your first step before you enter. Definitely try the modification. But if you are not able to get a modification, then definitely think of selling without the bank's help, because once the bank gets involved, then they are completely intertwined into the buying and selling process.
And they're not interested in you making money off the house. They're interested in getting their money back.
Yeah.
So it doesn't help you out. So for us, it's free and no obligation to ever sell your home through us. We just want to help you out, give you an idea of what your home is worth, and see if you can cover the cost and get out from underneath your home if that's what suits you and that's what's needed.
Exactly. It is, right now we're seeing that rental prices are possibly a little less than what a mortgage would be right now. Hopefully that will change. But if you need to, maybe selling the home and renting might be the best way to maintain your credit score and get you into a place where you're not going to get kicked out of your home. You actually get to do it on your own terms of moving out rather than someone forcibly having you exit your home. That is not desirable to anybody. So if we can get you enough money to pay off that loan so you can leave peacefully on your own terms, which they're not really your own terms, but they're better terms than what would happen under a bank's umbrella, let us know, give us a call, like email us. We don't even have to talk to us. Just go to our website, HOTTHomessells.com. That's 2 T's, 2 S's, and 2 L's, HOTTHOMESSELLS, HOTTHomessells.com. And we have a home evaluator. And what I will do is I will give you a home evaluation via video, and I'll just send it into your email box, and we'll be able to be like the nosy neighbors looking at other homes in the neighborhood, and you'll be able to get an evaluation without it ever talking to me. You could actually just, call me back and say, give me more information or whatever. But we give you a pretty good synopsis. It's in like real time where I'm talking about it while you're watching the maps and the other comparable houses. But that might be an option. Obviously, modification first.
Modification first to see if you can stay in your home.
And then
if you can't, don't lose it to the bank. Don't let the bank take it.
Don't let them have power over your home. This is still your home, and you should be involved in making decisions based on the outcome of that. So the other thing that they talked about was more than 1 in 1,500 residential properties faced. Okay, so the first one was at least 10% of residential mortgages were underwater in the third quarter. Now, more than 1 in 1,500 residential properties faced a foreclosure action in the fourth quarter of 2021. So like Alan said, June 31st, they lifted the moratorium. They still haven't lifted the rental moratorium.
No,
they keep
on extended to 2024, I think.
Which, like, from the beginning of the pandemic, I always thought those needed to be hand in hand because say you are an owner of a rental property, your renter can't pay anymore because they lost their job. You can't evict them or ask them to leave. You can ask, you can have a conversation, but you cannot harass them, make them feel uncomfortable. I mean, yada, yada, yada.
Can't kick them out.
You can't kick them out. So so that means you're not getting any rent for a mortgage that you still have to pay as an owner. And so now, but before you can have this relief while they're not paying. So really, that should be happening hand in hand.
Well, the relief is still there now. You have to, as the owner, apply for it now, and the tenant has to apply for it also.
It always makes me think, what's the legislative laws that were passed? Like, who's gaining from those still like allowing the foreclosures,
but not
allowing. So basically, someone's winning somewhere. The fact that they didn't do them in concert makes me very uncomfortable because someone's going to lose their home, and then that renter loses their home, and so it's this really awful circulation. But yet California is still giving billions of dollars back to the owner to pay for it. And I guess in that respect, if they're still being foreclosed on and getting all that rent payback, that's maybe a shame on them.
Yeah.
They should be back up.
Should be caught up.
They should be caught up.
Yeah.
So I take that back maybe.
But if you have questions that as a landlord, call us. Let us know. We'll help point you in the right direction.
So in 1 in 1,500 residential properties faced a foreclosure action in fourth quarter, California wasn't on that list. Let me look again.
Not in the top 50.
No, it was like more East Coast.
Yep. Not in the top 50. So we're looking at top 50 here.
Yeah.
Out of these 257 counties that were studied.
So do you think that is because there's a significant exodus on the East Coast to like states like Florida and such? What do you think the indication of that is?
Well, I think here people have been able to sell because the home values people are buying homes for more than they're valued for. So I think people are getting out from under that and avoiding the foreclosures because they're able to sell their home and either rent.
But in New York, they're actually leaving. So because the state, I'm thinking that a lot of people have lost their jobs probably in New York. They're having to go somewhere else where they can be employed again. But I know that there are a lot of New Yorkers and people from New Jersey are going into Florida right now. Let's see, 42 of the 50 counties least vulnerable to pandemic-related problems. So this is, now we're looking at the positives, like the least vulnerable. Again, California was not in there, but surprisingly, Seattle, Spokane County, some of my family's in that area, and Colorado is doing pretty well. So good job, everyone.
Yeah. California is not in the top 50 here. They could be in that top 250 somewhere, but they're not in the top 50.
I didn't think they would be because of how much the values of homes have gone up.
Yeah.
So another major home ownership costs on median price single family homes consume less than 30%. So this means that those using less than 30% of their income to pay for their mortgage. When I read that, I was thinking about our own house. Like
are we in that? Yeah. Where are we at compared to
like, so we were thinking, we're at the 25 percentile. I would like it to be a little less, but we're at 25%. So I guess we're doing pretty good.
We're a little close to that 30, but we'd like to move a little bit. But
no, we're right at 25.
Yeah.
Right at 25. But I would like it to be less because I might be giving myself a raise sometime soon. So. And also, it's never a bad idea to ask for a raise. For those really good employees out there, so many people decided not to work during the pandemic or were forced not to work or whatever. We're not working. And there are those of you who stayed in the workforce. And that is really incredible that you did that. And the new people who are coming on board are getting paid really well. So those people who actually stayed through the pandemic, this is a good time to ask for a raise.
Yeah, because the new ones are making more. You should see some correlation there.
Yeah.
You should get some benefit from that.
You absolutely should. And you should really be admired for your perseverance and your ability to stick with your job during a very difficult time. So again, California was not in those paying less than 30%. No kidding.
No, not the top 50. Yeah.
No, I keep on saying to Alan, we need to keep our mortgage between $2,000 and $3,000. I used to say no more than $2,000, but then I wanted a bigger house.
Then you get a little harder to keep it down. When bigger the house, the higher the mortgage.
Exactly. So anyways, with that said, we're not in the 50, the top 50 of this, but I think it's, we need to give a big shout out to Cincinnati, Ohio. Isn't that where the Bengals are from?
It is.
That's probably why their football team is going to the Super Bowl.
Could be.
because they're not so stressed out because they're not losing their homes and they've
they're actually
created good home ownership parameters.
Could be. Yeah.
I would be super like not stressed out if I was paying like 10%. Say we were paying 10%
Or 15 or 20%.
or 5%
5%.
or 0. I never do 0, but
Yeah.
5%, 10%.
10%.
I think that'd be pretty awesome. But anyways, go Bengals. Although I'm a Rams fan, so go Rams. But man, am I so impressed with the Cinderella story of the Bengals.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
everybody has to be.
If his team, the 49ers, won, I'd have we promised each other we would root for each other's team.
Yes. I know a 49er rooting for a Rams.
I know.
So I'm rooting for the Rams and the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The 49ers, even though.
If you can't say that anymore, between now and the Super Bowl,
Those
and at
are
least
Rams.
for like 3 months, you can't talk the profanity of 49ers.
Yeah. That was a rough spot. Yeah. Long story.
I would just like to celebrate my team
the
for just a little bit, and I don't think it's fair to
Yes.
taint it when we beat you.
Yes. Yeah, I can say good job, the Rams pulling in Stafford and
But
Beckham.
still, the
and-
Bengals game.
The Bengals game was.
Oh my gosh.
It was nice to see the Bengals beat the Chiefs. Sorry, Chiefs fans, but
No, I just, regardless of who you love out there. So
Yeah.
really,
you have to look
think
at
about the Cinderella story in Cincinnati. Think
Yeah.
about just what's going on in the streets right now, what the pride
Well,
and the happiness,
31 years
because
that they've been
they're
the
paying
best.
less than
Oh,
30%
I agree.
of their income on their
Your
homes.
team's in the Super Bowl, and you're in the top 50 of.
No,
least
they
likely-
are number
or
one.
the number one. The
They're
number one.
number one.
And the least likely to be affected by the pandemic.
Unbelievable. And then, okay, so then we have just outside of Pittsburgh in Pennsylvania, St. Louis in Minnesota. How do they talk?
Missouri.
Minnesota. Is that Missouri?
St. Louis is in Missouri.
Missouri.
Well,
What's
St. Louis
MN?
County. MN is.
I thought that was Maine.
We should go back.
No,
to
Maine is ME.
I mean, we need to go back.
Correct us. Which one's
fifth-
MN? Is it
fifth
Minnesota or it's not Missouri because
Fifth-
they didn't have N in it.
It's not Missouri.
I thought it was Minnesota.
Might be Minnesota.
But you're right, St. Louis,
But St.
Missouri.
Louis County, though.
But MN. Anyways, we're a little confused, but I know VA is Virginia. So
we got that.
good
one.
job, Virginia and Richmond City.
And then
And
Alabama.
another notable
Madison
is Alabama and Madison County. So really good job. That's awesome. So let's see, more than 10% of residential mortgages were underwater in the third quarter. This is a bad one, right?
More than 10% of mortgages were underwater in the third quarter, with owners owing more than their mortgages and their worth. And it's only 1 in 50 least at risk counties.
Least at risk counties. So,
So again, we're on the least at risk right now. So this
is a positive.
is a positive.
We're showcasing the responsible states and
Yeah.
counties.
So
So
less than 10% of their residents were underwater.
yes.
So this is a good thing.
So you go ahead and tell them what
We have
Deschutes County,
at least Deschutes County in Bend, Oregon. We have
Vermont,
Vermont with Chittenden. Sorry if I can't
Chittenden.
Chittenden County in Burlington, Vermont, and Travis County in Austin, Texas.
Austin. Wow, I thought Austin was overpriced right now, but I guess it's
no,
not.
they
Good
did
job.
And then Phoenix.
Phoenix
and
is doing really well.
And then
Yeah.
Lane County and Eugene, Oregon.
So
were some of the ones in that.
again,
50
California's
others.
not in there.
No.
More than 1 in 1,500 residential properties faced a foreclosure action during the fourth quarter in 2021 in none of the 50 least at-risk counties. So this is a positive. So including our Vermont, Chittenden County of Vermont again, Yamhill County, Oregon. Oregon's actually doing really well with this.
Doing good. Eugene again in Oregon.
Yeah.
Salem, Oregon.
And
then-
Deschutes, Oregon.
Yeah.
Oregon, we should throw them a party. They deserve it. This is
Yeah.
very
That's a-
awesome financial responsibility.
None of these counties had more
They
than
had the
1 in
least
1,500.
risk.
Yeah, none of them had more than 1 in 1,500 who were in foreclosure.
They were like, okay, so in Salem, Oregon, it was 1 in 31,553. In in contrast to 1 in
Well,
1,500.
here in Vermont, 1 in 69,734 residents had a foreclosure action in the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
That's really good.
it's really good.
Really good.
So congratulations on being financially responsible. So we wanted to just go over, well, I was going to go over how the methodology, if you want to know how they, the methodology of it, I'm going to put the link
We'll
to
put the link in
this
here. You can read the
great
article.
report.
Mhm.
We are trying to get from ATTOM's staff, the author of this. Her name is Christine. Oh, I don't know what her name is. Where's her name? It's by ATTOM's staff, but we're contacting a staffer, Christine, for the list. We'd like to know the list, like 1
Kind of in
to
order.
575, because just because you're not in the top 15, what about 51?
Yeah. What if you're right there? You're on that mark.
And what if you're tracking property and you want to possibly buy something that's possibly going to foreclosure? It'd be nice to know
What?
some counties that were,
Yeah.
because they said Southern and Central California. So in Southern California, there are more counties.
This Riverside made the top 50.
Yeah. So, but who wrote it? So ATTOM Data Solution is your one-stop shop for premium property data with flexible delivery solutions. Our mission is to power real estate transparency and to fuel innovation across various industries with the most comprehensive data, property data. We've built a multi-source national data warehouse that blends property tax deed, mortgage, foreclosure, environmental risk, natural hazard, and neighborhood data from more than 155 million U.S. residential and commercial properties, which covers 99% of the U.S. population. So very good. Thank you, ATTOM staff. And hopefully Christine will get back to us and we can share that list with you.
Yeah. We'll put a link in there for the list if we get it. So you can always look and see if your county is at risk.
Yeah.
And know the numbers kind of to see if you're in the top 150 for the least likely, or if you're in the top 150, 50 for the most likely.
So if you are in jeopardy of foreclosure, please go ahead and take a look at episode 9, where we really talk about modification and some of the rules associated and just some of our advice that you do need to seek legal counsel on this. We'll put the link in here for this so you can read up on it on your own, but we are really thankful for ATTOM staff and their good work in providing us with some statistics so we can help you and get some of this information out there to you before it's too late.
Yeah.
So thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks for your time. Have a great day.
Bye.